say?
Is it getting ready?
Yeah.
We're going to rock this town?
Yes, like rocket inside out.
Rock this town? Make them scream and shout?
We're going to rock, man, rock. We're going to rock.
Rock. Till it never stops. Rock this town. Rock it inside out.
I don't think so. Who was that?
Stray
Who's singing
Cats.
it? Yeah,
Stray
but
Cats.
What's that singer's name?
Brian Bellamy.
No.
Brian Bellamy.
No.
I think he was with the...
He's one of the Bellamy brothers?
I think he's one of the Bellamy brothers, yes.
Because their music's very similar.
Yes.
If they both have instruments in them.
I think so. Yeah. They sang, the Bellamy brothers sang, "How do I say goodbye?"
They did?
Yeah, and that is to yesterday.
I don't think that was
Yeah,
them.
wasn't
No.
it them, the Bellamy brothers?
No, that was not the Bellamy brothers.
They traveled with the Drifters, right, in the 60s.
I think that was Archie Bell and the Durrells.
What?
I don't know.
I
The
have-
Bellamy brothers were country singers.
The Bellamy brothers were country singers?
Yes.
I thought they were hip-hop.
No.
Bill Biv DeVoe. Well, who was he?
I think he was maybe
Bill Biv DeVoe.
I don't even know what music he sang.
Hooah! Do you remember Phil Hartman?
Yes.
And Dana Carvey doing Johnny Carson on Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
I did not know that.
You are correct, sir.
We've got a fresh young talent on the show, Bill Biv DeVoe.
Oh.
Ed, did you know about Bill Biv DeVoe?
I did not know that.
Bill Biv DeVoe.
Is it Bill? Bell.
Bell Biv? I don't know.
Bell Biv?
Bell Biv. How do I
Devo?
say
Was he a part of
goodbye?
Devo?
Whip It Good?
Bell Biv Devo?
Devo? I don't know.
Was he the lead singer of Devo?
Who knows? Who knows?
All because you couldn't think of Brian Setzer.
Brian Setzer and the Stray Cats Orchestra.
Well, no.
No.
But I think he has
Stray
the Brian
Cats.
Setzer Orchestra.
Yeah, he's talented.
He is talented.
That guy is talented.
That dude knows how to wear a pompadour.
Hey, I'm telling you, I went to their Christmas show.
Did you?
Yes, it was.
Was it
awesome.
good?
It was amazing. Brian Setzer Orchestra.
The Brian Setzer Orchestra.
They did their old Christmas show.
I heard it's great.
And here's what was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, me and my wife, we went. And there were people just waiting to do the whole, what kind of dancing is that? Where they kind of go out there and do the old, the Gap commercials used to do it, where they...
Oh, like swing dancing?
Swing dancing.
Really?
Oh, my goodness. They were ready, and
like
they all
jitterbugging?
all wearing their bowling shirts, kind of the Brian Setzer
Are you
look.
serious?
Oh, he has a following, yes.
I did not know that.
Tommy, I'm telling you, it was weird, wacky, wild stuff.
I did not know that.
Ed, I'm telling you, it was weird, wacky,
Hey-o.
wild stuff over there at the at the Brian Setzer Orchestra. They sing songs of Christmas and even the Stray Cats.
Hey-o.
Weird, wacky, wild stuff.
Oh, God rest their souls.
God rest their... Well, Dana Carvey's still alive.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of...
Phil Hartman?
No.
No.
I was thinking of Ed McMahon and...
Oh, Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Oh, the original. Yes. They were... we were young.
We were young.
We didn't really get to appreciate Johnny Carson
No.
and Ed McMahon.
My dad did.
Yes.
He loved him.
There was never... hi, Potty. Look at us.
Sorry, we're just talking.
It's just like we're talking.
It's just we're talking.
We're in Indianapolis right now.
We are?
And we're sitting in the hotel room just chatting.
Yep.
Chatting. We're like in chairs and on the sofa having a conversation like we would anyway.
That's exactly right.
But with microphones.
Yes.
It's just crazy.
With headset microphones on. So it's like...
It's like we're gamers.
It is like we're gamers.
But no remote controls.
But no game to play.
Just talking.
Or this is like what people who do like, customer service.
Oh, this would be customer service.
We're customer service on a break.
Yes.
But we can't take our headsets off.
Just in case there's a phone call.
In case there's an emergency phone call.
Well, Podience, we are here in the month of March.
Yeah.
Spring breaks are about to happen.
Yeah.
There would seem to be like trees blooming and flowers glistening.
But there's not.
There's not.
It's cold.
It's cold
It's really
out there.
cold.
Put your booties on, campers.
It is
because it's cold
Put
out there.
on your long handles.
You know what that's from? It's cold out there.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's
Hey,
cold.
it's cold out there.
You better put your...
Yep.
Oh, it's kind of funny though. We've talked about already,
Yes, already in this podcast.
already in our podcast, and we didn't plan it.
No, we just showed our musical
just-
ignorance by accident.
We've done this long diatribe of music to get to comedy,
Right.
and that's our theme is comedy. Every once in a while, we just like to talk about what we do,
Yes,
and it's comedy
yes.
and who the people are that do it. But it's so interesting. We just talked about Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
We were kids.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think there will never be a time when our parents, after the news, would not go to bed
Yeah.
until they saw Johnny Carson's monologue.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
a part of their routine.
And depending on his guest was,
His guest was.
that'd be the decision maker on whether they'd stay up later.
Yes, and they
Yeah.
weren't pitching a show or a
No.
movie. They just came on to talk.
Yep.
And more than not, the reason why you stayed up was you wanted to laugh.
Yeah.
There was
Yep.
something about laughter, and I guess there's probably a psychological thing too back then. You're watching the news, you're watching all the stuff, and then but you don't. Isn't that interesting? You don't want to go to bed with just the news.
Yeah.
Our parents would wait and get a laugh from
Well,
Johnny Carson.
Yeah, and in my mind, you think about like the late 70s, the economy is tanked.
Yeah.
There's turmoil in the Middle East.
People stand in line in gas stations.
Standing in line, it's a bad time.
Bad
you
time.
know? And so, yeah, you've watched all that news, and then all of a sudden, man, I need Johnny to tell me it's okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I need to laugh.
What an amazing thing to really. I've never really thought about it.
No, I haven't either.
That's
but it's
really
really
crazy.
true, yeah.
And nobody says that. Well, I want to stay up and watch Jay's monologue. I want to stay up and
Yeah.
see what Letterman has to say before I go to bed. I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't really happen. You
And the
know,
older I get, it's too late to stay up for what's his
Jimmy
name?
Fallon?
Jimmy Fallon.
He's
and
the
I love him.
best.
He cracks me up.
he's the best. He
Yeah.
should take over Jay's spot.
Oh, no question
Oh,
about
he
it.
is comedically funny.
He's creative.
Creative.
He's funny. He gets the audience involved.
Oh.
I mean, you just love it.
And he's so nice.
Yeah.
He just seems genuinely nice.
He really does.
Yeah.
But he can't take over Jay's spot because he also seems like a kid. He seems like a college kid. Like he's smart and
Fallon?
he's not. But you look at what he does. It's college games. It's cool. It's hip, but it ain't. It ain't Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson wasn't college. He was grown up man doing things.
I guess I just want to grow old with Jimmy. Then I
do too. I like him better.
I want Jimmy to do the 10:35 monologue before
But
I go to bed.
I do too. But you think about it. It's why Conan didn't make it, because Conan not as good as Jimmy. I'm not saying that, but it was sophomoric rather than adult.
Yeah, but don't you think Conan's a little polarizing though?
Yeah.
I mean, you either like him or you don't.
Yeah. It's funny though.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
But Jimmy seems to have that.
Yeah.
Appeal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about something that is moot because Letterman should have taken over for Carson, but
Yeah.
that's another story.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Whole nother story.
We talked about this too. We talked about I mentioned it. Like they did the Kennedy Center honors for
Yes.
and David Letterman was a part of that.
Right.
And you had like Tina Fey. You had Tina Fey up there talking about Mr. Letterman. When I was a teenager, me and my mom would VHS. There wasn't TiVo or
Yeah.
anything like that. We would tape your shows.
Right.
And then we'd watch them that summer in the morning time and laugh and just thought, who is this oddball? Who is this dork? Your hero may have been Johnny Carson, but you were my hero.
Yeah.
You were teaching me comedy and you didn't even know it. She goes, I dated people that watched your show. I dated people that were acting like David Letterman.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And, Ray Romano gets on there and he's, you think about what Johnny Carson did by just inviting people to the couch, and that was
Yeah.
the biggest honor. If a comedian did his thing and Johnny Carson were to wave him
Oh,
over,
huge.
that was it.
Yeah.
That was the moment. Seinfeld had it. Letterman had it. There were so many people that got that moment of, hey, come over to the couch. But, Ray was saying, kind of the same thing. Johnny may have been it for you, but when you started a production company and you were looking for talent and comedians to do TV shows, he goes, I just auditioned for a TV show, thought I had it. Before I even went in production, it got canceled. And and Ray Romano's kind of tearing up and he's going,
Yeah.
then I did your show. And He goes, I was kind of lost a little bit and just didn't know what was going to happen, and thought I had a 5-year gig doing a series, and then we get the phone call, and it's Mr. Letterman would like to see you. And he goes,
golly.
And Ray is like, and I didn't know if you knew I stole your coffee cup. I didn't know. And you gave me Everybody Loves Raymond. You just go,
man.
David Letterman is done more than Johnny Carson ever could.
Yeah.
As far as helping people with Worldwide Pants. That's his production company. Anyway.
Yep.
Pretty crazy.
Crazy
For
feeling it.
Oh, well, Podience, that was the longest
intro
in
ever in the history of Podience.
But you know what? Unapologetically, that's why our Podience listens.
I guess so.
That's why they email us.
Or they've turned it off by now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Which is always their option.
But the diehards, they're like, oh, this is what we like.
They're still here.
They're still here. They're just talking.
Yeah.
So this is what we're doing. We're talking. It's
like
about
coffee talk.
It is. It's like coffee talk.
It's no big whoop.
No big whoop. There's another one, Mike Myers.
Yeah, very funny.
People always go, who are you inspired by?
Yeah.
We always give, Harvey Korman, Tim Conway, Chevy Chase.
The big ones.
Robin Williams, but there's those guys too. Mike Myers.
Dude, you said Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman he's always been one of my favorite SNL guys.
Amazing.
And you listen to Lorne Michaels talk about him, and he says, Phil Hartman and Dan Aykroyd. Those were the dudes. They were in the background, and they'd steal the show.
Bill Hader.
Bill Hader's great. Yeah.
He would be the Phil Hartman, the Dan Aykroyd of today.
You're right.
He would be that utility player that just so good.
Oh, so funny.
And comedy, it's interesting too. It's like a muscle, because you look at Bill Hader when he first started with Kristen Wiig, because they both came out at the same time on SNL. Wow. He just gets better and better and better. The more he is fearless, the more I shouldn't say the more he's fearless. He's fearless as it is, but he just gets better and better and better.
You should coach him.
I should coach him.
I'm going to get his number and call you.
He's really good,
and he's got some sweet ideas for you.
But anyway,
Ty Burrell.
Ty Burrell
to me is somebody who just makes me laugh.
On Modern Family.
Oh, he's so funny.
He looks like you.
I don't think he does. We may have some similar bone structure.
He got some of the same characteristics and stuff.
That's a little hard to deal with.
But it's
Some
very
people
funny.
are like, you remind me of that guy from Modern Family. Oh, there's really none on there I want to be reminding you of.
Well, Ty Burrell was on the show that Patricia Heaton and Kelsey Grammer. Do you remember that? It had Fred Willard.
Oh, was it a news program?
It was a news program. Yep.
Yeah, fake news program.
Even had that guy from 1600 Penn, the real funny, kind of overdoes it in that show. But they were all on this, and Ty Burrell was the on-the-spot news guy, and something physical would always happen to him.
That's right.
And he was
forgot
hilarious.
about that. Yeah.
But
Very
the same
funny.
people that did, I can't remember what that show was called.
Yeah.
The people of Modern Family did that show. So
I
they
didn't know
basically,
that.
they just took Ty Burrell and said, "You're funny. Come over here and let's create this right here."
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but he had the least amount of airtime on that Kelsey Grammer sitcom that didn't go anywhere.
He is funny. He just subtle looks, just little things. Cracks me up, man.
So good. Well,
how about you? Modern day comedians. Modern day people that make you laugh.
Jimmy Fallon makes me laugh.
Brian Regan makes me laugh.
Brian Regan's hilarious. He's so clean too.
He's completely clean and funny as all get out.
Why isn't he just
huge
and bloomed? Yeah,
I think he just does his thing. I think he's probably doing what he wants to do. He wants to do stand up and fill up audiences, and he's not an actor.
Yeah, true. Audience, if you've never heard of Brian Regan, which I mean, I don't know who wouldn't have heard of Brian Regan.
Yeah.
Or if it's been a long time since you've downloaded one of his comedy acts.
It's funny.
Download it. If you got a drive taken somewhere, if you want good, clean comedy and just laugh.
Yep.
He is so smart, so witty, so creative, and not a cuss word. He just doesn't really cuss. There may be a couple, but it's not a lot. He doesn't need it.
No, he's just funny.
So, yeah, Brian Regan's awesome.
Funny.
Very, very funny. we are talking about, that's what we're going to be talking about. It's comedy. That's the world we live in.
Comedy.
Not to say that we are anywhere near the people that we're talking about and what they do, but those are the people we watch.
Yeah.
Those are the people that inspire us and give us creativity and help us to laugh.
Yeah.
Tommy and I laugh. I mean, there's not a day or a week that goes by that we're not laughing about something.
We laugh a lot.
And maybe that's just because we like to be entertained ourselves. I don't know.
I think it's your attitude on life, you know. I mean, you can either enjoy the ride or not.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what we're going to talk about on our podcast is, are you enjoying the ride of life? Are you enjoying this crazy roller coaster? Are you enjoying, when's the last time you laughed?
Yeah.
And who are those people that make you laugh? And go to those people. Find those people that make you laugh. And enjoy life. So, month of March, I can't think of a better podcast theme than comedy.
Yeah. We'll refer to it as March Ooh. Well, that's kind of evil.
Kind of evil laugh.
I was trying to think about laugh.
It was kind of an evil laugh. So what are some of your comedies
March
you're liking?
Merriment.
Ooh, March Merriment.
March Merriment.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
good. That's good. What are some comedies that you're liking right now on television? On the TV. On the TV.
On the
Tom.
telly?
On the telly.
On the telly. You know what? It's the usual suspects for me. Modern Family.
Kevin Spacey? The movie?
No, not
No, that's not a comedy. That was
Sizer
more of a...
Kose?
Yeah, that was a thriller.
Kaiser Sose.
Kaiser Sose.
Yeah.
Or if you're dyslexic, yes.
Sizer Kose.
Sizer Kose.
Yeah, Modern Family, The Middle, you know.
When Gloria had her baby.
Yeah.
Gloria had her baby, and that scene where, what's Ty Burrell's? Phil
Yeah.
Dunphy's oldest daughter is dating that older guy.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
In that elevator scene.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, my goodness.
Fantastic moment.
He wasn't a dummy.
Nope.
I mean, he played, episode, he played a dad.
Yeah, a dad who cared, you know.
Loved his daughter.
I mean, that's what being a dad is. You love your daughter. You do things that are probably stupid, but you don't mean to.
Oh.
It's just because you love them.
That scene.
Yeah.
You know, why aren't you and Dad allowing me to do this with this guy? You know, and Phil's in the other elevator trying to go catch his daughter. And
opens back up. Yeah.
Yeah, what did he say? He goes, "These cat and mouse games may work for your dad, but it doesn't work for me. I'm not going to let some 2-bit middle-aged loser try to take my daughter's heart. She's better than that, and she's going to hear it from me." You know, it's just this. It was just this great moment.
Great moment.
This great moment.
She hugs him.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Let's not talk about him getting teary-eyed. But yeah, loving that. The Middle. I think The Middle is fantastic this season. I mean, they just keep doing their thing, and they haven't lost things. They keep bringing up, you know, just the, you know, Brick with the whoop, you know, and the whisper, you know, and even, you know, the different things about Sue that you've learned throughout the years, and you know, they've done a great job of continuing to build it. You know,
so good. And I love how they integrate God.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, very much so. I love the fact that they're driving the church van right now.
Yeah, the car broke down.
The last episode, they went and bought pizza, and the pizza place gave them like 20 pizzas because they were in a church van. Yeah. And then in the next day, okay, finish up your breakfast pizza. Here's some lunch pizza.
So good.
It really is.
So good. And,
very, very funny.
And they have Reverend. When was the last time Reverend Tom was on there? He's
the
youth minister.
On a while. He's so great.
Reverend Tom is awesome. He did something where he comes in and sings a little ditty for Axel, didn't he, or something?
Well, he did for Christmas. At Christmas, he did it. It was for Brick. Yeah.
Brick, about
Brick didn't believe
the legitimacy of Jesus.
Yeah. And Reverend Tim Tom came in.
It's so good.
It's so great.
Oh,
yeah. So I mean, that's the thing you love is you know that whoever's writing this, like they've got a background in church, you know, and you know, still maybe involved, you know, who knows, but yeah, it's just very funny.
And you wonder, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I can only speculate. You know, like the Christian comedians, the Thor Ramseys and the different people like that. They did, what was that?
Tim Hawkins. Wait,
I don't know if Tim Hawkins was part of it, but there was like a lot of Christian comedians that did a movie. Thou Shalt Laugh or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And Patricia Heaton.
Was
the host.
I think they did two of them. And
Tim
she
Conway
hosted one, and Tim Conway hosted one. Yeah.
So I go.
Very cool. Yeah. There's something there.
There's something there.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she has a part of that.
She could.
That's something.
She
As
could.
far as the
audience members, if you know Patricia Heaton, let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah. And if
Let
you
us
know
know.
her, let her know about us.
So, okay. Yeah, I agree. Middle's awesome.
Yeah. Community's back on.
Love Community.
I laugh hard at Community.
I just love all the little.
Community's a smart show.
It's just bantery. It's
Yeah.
just quippy.
It's a show written by people who have watched way too much TV.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Thank you.
Really? Yeah, no,
Thank
really.
you.
Thank you. We
Thank
need
you.
that.
There was this line. You haven't watched this past episode, but there's this line. They're trying to get the Germans out of their study group and everything, and they trick them and into like a having all this food. Like there's Wiener Schnitzel and there's a German chocolate cake and there's all. It's kind of like Oktoberfest, and
Yeah.
and the Germans like, this is a ruse. There's something to this, and then whatever his name is, the head guy. Why can't I? What's his name?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
Tall
Names.
guy. He's
Yeah.
always the one.
Yeah.
The lead. I can't remember his name.
Greg.
I don't know.
I don't
Joel.
Joel.
I
That's
don't know.
his actual name is Joel.
Yeah.
The actor.
It's like, you got us. You're right. You got us. Hey, have a drink on us. And he grabs the drink, the beer, and he's going, as they say in Ferris Bueller.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. Yes. Yeah, as they say in Ferris Bueller, he's holding up the pitcher of beer. Dankeschön. And then the, what's her name? God, why can't I think of their names? The black-haired girl.
Oh, yeah.
Not Libby. What's
No.
her name? Abby.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The only
either.
person I can think of is Chevy Chase. His name is Pierce. And
That's
Abed.
right.
Those are the only two people I can think of. But, he goes, as they say on Ferris Bueller, Dankeschön. And she goes, she has a camera, and she points at him. And as they say in the movie, gotcha. Gotcha. And I just thought, because I took a picture of him with a beer on campus, and I just thought, that is so beautiful.
Who
That is
quotes
so-
Gotcha? Who even remembers the movie Gotcha?
That is so beautiful. I
Yeah.
love that nobody will get it, and they still did it. And
That's awesome.
For me, Gotcha was a 1987-86 movie.
Yeah.
With Anthony Edwards from the guy from ER.
Yeah.
It was kind of a spy comedy thriller, and I just thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
so
for doing
do you
that.
think the writers, like at some point somebody's going, hey, have you seen that new TV show Anthony Edwards is in? Really? Has he done anything good since Gotcha? You wonder,
Totally.
did somebody have a conversation a few weeks ago and then it
Yes.
comes up,
Well, who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? But Community was, all those episodes were filmed in the fall.
Oh, it was.
But who
Well,
knows
but they
if
were
that,
still,
that could have been in development.
yeah, it was in, yeah,
Yeah.
it had to be in filming at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Community is wonderful.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see Chevy Chase leave the show.
Yeah. That's disappointing.
Yeah. Community's whole thing is 6 seasons and a movie. They're in season 4. They really thought this was going to be the last one.
Uh-huh.
The ratings have been really good.
Good.
So who knows? There may be a season 5.
Right.
But anyway,
And a movie.
that's their whole thing.
They want to make a movie?
Hashtag 6 seasons and a movie.
Interesting.
The Community wants to make, to go out with a movie.
What is Chevy Chase going to go do?
I don't know. But if you think about Chevy Chase, which we're fans of Chevy.
Oh, love him.
I mean, we grew up on Chevy Chase.
Yeah, cracks me up.
Oh, and I love him in Community.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's never really liked the whole thing of, Joel McHale's character, always at the last minute, hey guys, here's what we need to do,
Yeah.
in life. And they even make fun of it too on
Yeah.
the show. Oh, here he comes. Here comes the monologue.
Right.
They'll,
Jeff Winger.
Jeff Winger.
Sorry.
Winger.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, Winger gives the emotional moment.
Yeah.
Which back in the 80s, all sitcoms gave the emotional moment.
Right. Annie.
Annie?
That's her name. Sorry.
Annie.
The brown hair
oh,
girl's
look
Annie.
at you.
Yeah, it's just
Thank you.
it's just rolling out.
It
Yeah, yeah.
is now,
Sorry.
Annie.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, you're right. They did. They gave the emotional moment. The aha. Here's the deal. This is why.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I, to be honest with you, I mean, I think writers in Hollywood today,
Yeah.
they don't want to go there and do that a lot.
No, but give it a redeeming value.
give us something. I mean, we're not, Americans aren't dumb.
No.
But I think we like the warm fuzzies. You make us laugh, you make us think.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt us.
Doesn't yeah, give us some redeeming value that we can turn off our TV set and go, huh? Yeah, I do that. Huh? Oh wow, I'm not good at that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I totally do.
The middle does it, and I'm so glad the middle gives redeeming values.
Modern Family does.
Modern Family does. Duck Dynasty does.
Oh, I love Duck Dynasty. Listen, it's so staged. You totally know it's staged.
Yes,
you know?
of course.
But who cares?
Well, I mean,
it's fantastic.
They have to be making enough money for people, for the producers to go, hey, can you go out there and pop wheelies with your go-karts today and give it a reason why? Well, I guess so.
Well, and this is the thing.
You know?
Like, I always knew this thing was staged. Like, you just knew it.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
But in this season, Cy has a revolver, and he's shooting at a snake. And a revolver holds, 6 or 8 bullets, and he's just da la 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 la, and everyone's holding their ear, and there's no smoke coming out of the gun. I mean, there's no nothing, and he just keeps firing that sucker, and you're like, oh yeah, that's just impossible.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. Me and my daughter, I've never watched Duck Dynasty until probably 3 weeks ago, and me and my daughter in a hotel room, during a gig.
Yep.
And we stayed up and watched about 3 episodes.
Oh
of it.
yeah.
And my 8-year-old daughter loved it, but I love the redeeming stuff at the end of
it's great.
God and prayer,
family.
And here's what you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to family, blah blah blah. I mean, come on, people, give us more of that.
Give us something.
Give us So, I like that kind of stuff, and I think that's what we're about. I think that's unapologetically what we do.
Yep.
We do the comedy, and we unapologetically here's the truth. Here's the nugget.
No question about it.
So.
Troy, Abed, Jeff, Annie, Britta.
How did you just do that?
I don't know.
You didn't Google it either.
Head. No.
I'm looking at you. You didn't.
Troy, Abed, Jeff, Annie, Britta, and
Pierce.
And
Chang.
Who?
Chang?
No.
No.
No, who's the other girl? The other lady.
Britta.
That's married to Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Oh, Shirley.
Shirley. That's
Shirley.
it. Yeah, Shirley.
Yeah. So.
Yes, Shirley.
She loves Jesus.
She does.
Yes, she loves Jesus.
I don't know if that's the best representation of Christianity, but okay.
I would agree with you on those shows. Yes. I've been liking the Mindy Show.
You know what? I've caught bits and pieces of it.
She grew up in the 80s. You could just
really?
tell. You could just tell that she grew up on movies and TV and I mean 80s and 90s, but she's I would say she's a girl after my own heart. Like, you could tell that's what she did, is watch TV and watch movies. And there's just references out the wazoo, which I love. And I mean, we could probably have a contest. We've talked about this, but we could probably have a contest on our videos because they are just laced with movies and TV shows, and even our skits. I mean, they
Little
have
Billy's teacher's name is Mr. Drummond.
Yeah. And you always say, "What you talking about?" I mean, there's just we have it everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
They really are.
In the radio show, when I hang up on you, and you say, I put you on mute, and Leonard can't hear me right now.
Yeah. Is this some kind of radical new therapy?
Yeah.
What about Bob?
What about Bob?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just everywhere.
I would love for someone to sit there and just watch our videos and just see how many references they can come up to either a TV show, a movie, or the 80s,
We should do a contest, and if whoever can list the most, we will give them
one of everything.
One of everything in our store.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Audience?
Do we have the power to do that?
We have the power. It's our store.
Oh, it is our store.
Well, it's God's store, but I guess we've been entrusted to it.
Yes.
So, yes. If you want to make a list of every reference that is in all our videos,
oof,
that's tough.
Who can come up with the most references to either movies, TV shows, or the 80s?
Yeah, and they're all in there.
They're all in there.
I write them in there. You say them in there. I mean, they're in there. It's just part of who we are. Mindy's show I really like. I was watching Seth MacFarlane on the Oscars.
Yeah.
And I know he's crude and blah, blah, blah.
Goodness, yeah.
But there's another guy that grew up just watching TV and movies.
So many references.
So many references. And that just impresses me, to take that kind of stuff and to figure out how to make it work today.
Yeah.
Just really impressive.
Well, but you also wonder, like, when we were kids, did Johnny Carson do that with stuff from the 50s and
Probably
60s?
So. Probably so.
We just didn't catch it.
We didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is like a lot of our audience today. They don't They don't know.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know who Mr. Drummond is.
Or as in the movie, Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Just so
Yeah.
beautiful. Parks and Recreation.
I've heard it's really great. You know what I'm
So
just realizing when we're talking about TV is like I'm moving into this new phase in life
Yeah.
where my kids have a ton of homework, so we're helping them with that. Then when they're done, HUD and I might play a video game, but
Yeah.
we're usually doing something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, occasionally we'll watch a show together, you know?
Yeah.
We've watched The Neighbors. Our family watches The Neighbors. It's totally silly, you know?
Yeah.
But not a lot of TV watching them by the time they go to bed because they go to bed later now. Like, I get in 30 minutes to an hour of watching TV,
Yeah.
and generally I fall asleep.
That's it. That's, yeah. Yeah. That's the way it is with me too. Yeah. Yeah. Usually I'm watching these shows on the weekend or
Oh, yeah.
yeah, in my bed. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're me and Steph will watch a show, but yeah, it's always usually like one show and
Yeah, no.
yeah,
Getting
No,
old's awesome.
Getting old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parks and Rec though, it's very sweet and it's very good.
Yeah.
Very funny. Ron Swanson is
Oh.
probably one of the best characters on television.
Well, and that would be, you want to talk about people that make me laugh. Ron Swanson. I mean, that
Just-
character is fantastic. The guy that plays Putty. On,
Patrick Wahlberg.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
on How Many Ways to Say I Love You. I don't know what that TV show
Rules
is.
of Engagement.
Rules of Engagement.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he's just, I laugh at everything he says.
I've never watched the show, but every time it's been critiqued, Rules of Engagement, they always say him and the wife should have their own show,
They
their own
should.
spin-off,
They
and
should.
take all those other characters off.
I agree 100%. They carry the show.
When they're on it, it's very, very funny.
Yeah.
You know, when the rest are on it,
And it's not a good show to watch. I mean, their content is,
Yeah.
you know, about dumb stuff. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, those two are very funny.
How I Met Your Mother is
Yeah, it's good.
it's been a little crazy, cartoony.
Yeah,
You know,
they seem to be kind of coming back. They're going
Yeah.
back to the subject matter of How I Actually
How
Met
I
Your
Met
Mother.
Your Mother,
You know,
yeah.
which is good.
yes,
You know.
yes, and I'm assuming next season will be the last season, right?
I guess so.
It's almost like television shows. They get in this weird space of, oh wait, we've become popular.
Yeah,
We're getting more money.
yeah.
They want us to continue. The ratings are good. CBS wants us, or whatever the network wants us, and then it really is okay. We gotta stretch this out.
It makes you respect Ricky Gervais because you
On
know
The Office?
Well, yeah, he came up with both
British
like
Office?
all of his shows. It's a season or two, and he's out.
You're done.
You know, and you're just left going, no, don't stop. You
Yes.
know, but the ones that carry on, you kind of go, oh, you had to put filler in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this season, especially on How I Met Your Mother, it feels like they're not even really acting, but just being zany.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know-
yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
until
Yeah,
they
it
get back
gets-
to the regular subject matter.
Yeah.
Raising Hope is an amazing show.
You know what? We tape it and never watch it, but
It's-
then when we do, like catch bits and pieces of it, laugh really hard.
Just so funny.
Yeah.
It's just the same creators of My Name Is Earl.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they had them all. They had the whole cast of My Name Is Earl in this past episode.
No way.
Yeah, and just threw up My Name. There was this one episode where they go to Hollywood to do something. I can't remember what they did. And but the husband is in Raising Hope. He's clipping shrubs for this executive guy on a lot, you know,
Yeah.
a studio lot. And Brian Doyle Murray played the executive. You know, he's like, "Hey, those are nice shrubs," and but I gotta ask all these other executives, network executives, they like it. This guy is from ABC, and this guy is from NBC and Fox, and you know, the dad on Raising Hope's like, "Oh, okay, well, if you don't like the shrubs, I can just stop." You know, he goes, "Hey, which one's from NBC again?" And the executive goes, "I'm from NBC." And he goes over there, basically just does a roundhouse and just knocks him down. He goes,
No.
"That's for canceling My Name Is Earl."
No, no, that's awesome.
It was very funny. It was very funny. Arrested Development's coming back on Netflix. Did you know that?
I had heard that.
Arrested
Is
Development.
everybody in it?
Everybody's in it.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to focus on one character per episode.
Oh.
So you'll kind of get,
I gotcha,
instead
I
of
gotcha, I gotcha.
they're going to focus, everybody will be in it and doing their thing, but it'll basically focus on one character.
That's a big deal for Netflix.
Love it.
Yeah, that's
Can't wait.
huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Arrested Development was to me one of the best comedies.
Very smart.
There's no emotion to it, but
None.
very, very, very
No
funny.
redeeming value.
No redeeming value
None whatsoever.
Speaking of no redeeming value, 30 Rock is over.
I quit probably
Yeah.
2 years ago.
It's
I
a
just
former
felt like-
shell of itself.
Yeah, they got full of themselves.
Yeah.
They thought they could do anything.
Yeah.
Rather
Yeah.
than thinking of their audience.
True. I always think I call it the Eddie Murphy syndrome. Like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places, 48 Hours, there was he was just so raw and so funny.
Yeah.
But as soon as success happened, and it's kind of around The Golden Child, movie, The Golden Child,
Yeah.
like his face changed, his look changed, and now, the Dr. Doolittles and Norbits, and he came back big on Nutty Professor.
Oh, my stars.
Nutty Professor's hilarious,
Yeah.
but when you watch him play the alter ego of the
Nutty Professor. Yeah.
the Nutty Professor,
Yeah.
that's Eddie Murphy. That's the successful, done up Eddie Murphy
Now, that's an interesting thing, though. Because in the original Nutty Professor,
with Jerry Lewis.
with Jerry Lewis, he had real family problems while filming that. Because he would come home and be that jerk.
Be that jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
That is
But,
interesting.
yeah, you're right about Eddie Murphy. And I can't even mention Nutty Professor without saying I thought I was going to have a heart attack when I watched that for the first time.
It was hilarious.
When they're sitting around that table talking,
And
oh my goodness, and they start breaking
toots
wind.
and- yeah.
I honestly thought I'm having a heart attack.
This is one
I'm
great
laughing
scene.
so hard,
It was amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
But that's what I kind of look at sitcoms and people that kind of get bloated. They kind of go beyond, and they were so raw, and it was so good and so creative, and then the money, the success, things just happen, and they kind of phone it in, and that's kind of what happened to 30 Rock towards the end. It was somewhat creative, but anyway. So, hey, those are the comedies.
There you go.
Audience. Those are the comedies right there. Boom, boom. Do you have a? When we started, was there ever a friendship flashback when we started of a comedy moment for you when you were like, hey, you know what, we can make people laugh. This is pretty good. This is okay.
Yeah. In the summer of 19
Of your discontent.
Summer of 1997.
Yes.
I specifically remember it was 1997 because it was my 10-year reunion from high school. I'd graduated 10 years. And
we need to do friendship flashback, dude.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, you ready? Here we go. And
Friendship Okay, 1997.
1997. We were invited to do a youth evangelism conference in Dallas, Texas.
Call those the YECs, Tom.
YEC.
YECs.
And it was at Reunion Arena. And I remember when we got when they called, they said, hey, we'd like you to do and I remember looking and going, it's my 10-year reunion that same weekend. I kind of want to go, And then it was like, there'll be 20,000 people there. And it was oh, okay. And so we opted to do that, instead of going through which was great. But I think it was like, man, you stepped out. You're in the middle of Reunion Arena surrounded by 20,000 people.
Yeah.
And I think that's that moment that you go, we may be okay. This may work.
This may be okay.
But
Yeah.
what was awesome, and I think this is just a beautiful God thing, was the week before that or the week after that, we did a performance in a guy's garage for about 12
20
kids.
Yeah.
And so it's like that beautiful balance of, hey, don't get too full of yourself.
You're not all that.
Yeah.
And a bag of potato chips.
There's
I remember that.
Yeah. And so I think that was probably that moment that I went, this sucker may work.
And I remember yeah. And we'd probably just really been the skit guys for what, a year and a half, maybe?
Oh,
Not even
yeah,
that?
if that.
And it really was. Here we go. We're going to be right in the middle of all these people surrounding us.
Yep, and I was still a youth pastor at the time, so my kids went to the event, and they just thought, oh, my goodness, our youth pastor is the cat's meow.
I remember the laughter. The laughter was, with 20,000 people.
Yeah.
It's either going to be crickets or it's going to be great laughter.
And it was really hard to hear each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was tough.
That was an amazing moment.
I think we did the radio call-in show.
We did. We did.
So,
And
yeah.
it was just uproarious.
Yeah.
Uproarious.
Yeah.
And we were doing characters that would be considered racist today.
It was, yeah, it was back then.
Isn't
too.
that funny?
We just didn't know
We
it.
didn't know
Yeah,
it.
we didn't
Nobody
know.
else did.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
It's kind of like on the TV show Go On, which I don't watch a lot of. Do you watch Go On?
I do. I watch every. Yeah, I should have brought that up. Yeah, that was funny.
Go On's
That's
funny.
A funny show. Yeah.
They kind of did John Hughes-ish stuff. This past one, did
I
you
did
see
see
that?
I'm not caught up on them, but I will say this: they generally have redeeming value.
They
I mean,
do.
They're going through this guy's grief process.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, and he's starting to date this girl again, Piper. She's real. I can't.
the one that's in the group.
Blonde-haired.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody really respects her and
Yes.
thinks she's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, they start dating, and he keeps bringing up his ex-wife or his dead wife,
Right.
Janie,
Yeah.
and they start talking about 16 Candles. They start talking about
Oh,
John
no way.
Hughes.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
it's a really good episode.
Oh, I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, but there's this one scene where his buddy, who he works in the radio station with.
Yeah, like the program manager.
Yeah, and he's Asian.
Yeah.
And they're talking about 16 Candles, and Matthew Perry goes, "Yeah, and what's the deal? Every time Long Duck Dong entered the scene in that movie, there was always every time Long Duck Dong, you hear the crang, the cymbals crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, "What was that about? That was totally racist.
Yeah.
How come we all laughed at that?" You
Yeah.
know, and the guy goes, "I didn't. We knew. We knew." You know, and I go, "Yeah, we're just ignorant on that
Yes.
kind of stuff." But anyway, but I remember my aunt was there at the YC, and she was waiting kind of in the little alleyway thing, you know, when you get off stage, and she's crying. And I mean, the laughter was just amazing.
Yeah.
It was really one of those moments of, wow, we can do this.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember she was crying, and she just said, "Your dad would have been so proud," you know. And it was that moment, like, I'm crying with my aunt, you know, in front of, you know, we're on the side, but we're in this huge auditorium, this arena, and it's just one of those moments of, wow, you know.
That's awesome.
And my aunt never came to anything. Like,
Yeah.
I think my grandmother drugged my aunt to this thing. And,
Wow.
My dad died when I was 17, 18 years old. So anyway, it was that moment, you know.
You know what else happened?
What?
I'm 99% sure I've got a bad memory, so
Yeah.
I think it was at that event that my wife told me she was pregnant with our first child.
Get out.
I would, but I can't. And, yeah, it is, because the next year we would do the YEC again, and Jackie Velasquez
She's holding on to your
was
baby.
there, and she took Abby, and not in a bad way, but she
wanted to
walked
hold
away.
the baby.
Yeah, she walked away.
She would have what?
Yeah,
Jackie
she walked
Velasquez
away,
walked away with your baby.
Walked away with the baby and was
Yeah.
a little concerned about that.
That is funny.
Oh yeah, so it was that first YC that Angie told me that she was pregnant with what would be our daughter Abby.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
That is
Interesting.
nuts.
Wow, that's quite a flashback.
And the man, Bob Johns, who gave us our very first gig back
Yeah.
in the 80s,
Yeah.
flew us out. He actually prayed with us before we did the YEC. Do you remember
you're
that?
Right. You're right. Yep.
Just put
That's
his hands
exactly
on us
right.
and prayed with us, and it was a big deal.
That's
That was
huge.
a big, big gig.
Yeah.
I remember driving to the Reunion Arena, and just so nervous and so
Oh.
excited. And,
Yeah.
And that Aerosmith song came on. Don't want to close my eyes. Don't want to
Oh,
miss
man.
a thing. Like, and that was like, I
That
remember
was
just,
how you felt.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Don't want to don't want to miss a thing.
You were single. That was before you were married.
I was single.
Wow.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
That is
That
crazy.
was a good friendship flashback, my
Good
friend.
friendship flashback.
That's
yeah.
really good. That was really good. Well, folks, audience, we're still talking about comedy. I hope you're enjoying it so far. If you're not, you can totally turn it off because there's tons of other podcasts.
But we don't want you to.
We
don't
don't want you
misunderstand
to.
that
Yeah,
statement.
we
We'd like you to
We
stay.
love you, audience.
We do love you.
This is Doing Life.
Doing life.
Okay, this is the guy from the head writer of Modern Family. This is what he says about comedy. Thought
Got
this
it.
was very
What's his name?
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, because I thought when it first came out, I thought it was Christopher
Marty,
Lloyd.
Marty. Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not different.
It's
Christopher
not.
Lloyd.
Yeah. He says I'm all for good jokes, and this is what they do so well, but I think you'd be better off having one joke for every 3 pages if it's a great joke, rather than 3 jokes a page and you're missing as often as you're hitting. So it's like, build it up, give us one great joke, one great big laugh.
God, that's crazy, though, because they've got about 3 or 4 jokes a page.
They do.
Like, you know?
But there's always that one big payoff.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you remember.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of made me go, we're always wanting our audience to laugh. But, we can't forget about those big moments.
Yep.
Those big jokey moments.
Yep.
The key to good comedy isn't the comedy, it's the heart.
Interesting.
Yes.
The key to good comedy isn't the comedy, it's the heart.
What are we exploring here? What feels real? The jokes are the surface of it, but the core of the show is the flesh and blood characters. Don't worry so much about making it funny. Worry about making it emotionally satisfying, and the jokes will come. Never build a sitcom around someone who wants to be a star and doesn't want to share the spotlight. You're going to run it into the ground. Have multiple characters and multiple character dynamics to explore. Stay away from cliched roles, the wacky neighbor who always drops by, the sex pot friend to the married woman, the incredibly knowing and neurotic 7-year-old. And make it a little easier for yourself by not doing topical things. I started out on the Golden Girls, and there were a ton of jokes about things that were in the news. A lot have been cut for syndication, but every now and then there will be a joke about Jerry Falwell going down a water slide. You can barely remember who Jerry Falwell was, let alone the time he went down a water slide.
Well,
isn't that interesting?
I would argue that a lot of people remember who Jerry Falwell was, but I didn't know he went down a water slide.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's good wisdom.
It is. And with our videos, though, too, there are some things we'll throw in, no, cut that, because it'll date this.
It'll date it.
It'll date the video, yeah. A funny thing about being funny, it's seriously hard work.
Oh, that's good.
So I thought that was good about the heart.
Yeah.
In storytelling, it's all about the heart, and the comedy will come. That's a good word,
Yeah.
That's a good word. One guy that we love so much is Bill Murray.
Oh, he's just so funny.
We've quoted, we just said, what about Bob? This is what Bill Murray does. This is a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
In this magazine, it talks about if on a pleasant Sunday afternoon there is no recommendation that you do, kickball being the quintessence of hipster self-infantilization, but if you do find yourself in such a situation, and if in the middle innings a strange homeless-looking man appears and asks if he can take a turn at the plate, do not, as may be your temptation, shoo him away in anger and disgust. That man may be Bill Murray.
Yeah, because he did that.
That we live in a universe in which such rules need stating is the great gift of Bill Murray's late-stage career, and it's what we went down one brisk day this fall when a group of 20-somethings playing kickball on Roosevelt Island were suddenly involved in the one-man flash mob that is a Bill Murray sighting. We just figured he was someone's dad on the other team and kept playing, one of the participants wrote to BillMurrayStory.com, a website devoted to chronicling such ambiguous and predictably unpredictable events. The man kicked the ball and ran pretty well to first base, trying to round to second, but one of my teammates chased him back to first, decided not to attempt to peg the man. That was when everyone on my team realized who he was. Bill Murray decided to play kickball with us. Murray made it as far as second base before getting doubled on a line drive. He gave everybody on the field high fives. He hugged one player's mother, who was standing on the sidelines, lifting her high into the air. He posed for a group photo that would soon be all over the internet. And then he vanished. Is that
crazy.
Not great?
Yeah, what a great description. The one-man flash mob. That is Bill Murray. Yeah. That's crazy. I love that.
I want to be like that. You know, like I go, no one would would care, I guess, but you go,
that's really
to have
great,
that
though,
much status and to do something like that is.
But that's always been him. Before he was famous, he would have stepped into that kickball game. You know,
he totally would.
I mean, he hasn't changed who he is. You know?
Or when he plays celebrity golf.
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene where he hits it and he grabs an old grandma?
Yeah.
And just swings her around. He's hugging her and jumping with her, grabs her hand, and just swinging around in a circle.
Yeah.
And letting her fly.
He's funny.
Chris Rock says this. I'm not a big Chris Rock fan. I don't think he's that funny.
No, he did that one thing. Good Hair.
Good Hair was a documentary. That was
a documentary,
yes.
But he did a great job in it. Yeah.
I never thought he was good on Saturday Night Live either.
No, he's good in those cartoons. What's that? Oh, come on, where they're in the zoo and they escape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, he's
Madagascar.
Great in that. Madagascar.
But you hit upon something. The documentary was great, and Everybody Hates Chris, which he produced and did the voiceover for.
Yeah, I never saw that.
It was
good?
really well written. But you go, he's good at that type of stuff more than he is the other stuff. But
he also said one time he wasn't funny enough to be clean.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
He wasn't smart enough to be clean, so he had to use cuss words.
Yeah.
He said this. Chris Rock said this on comedy. Do I think comedians are better now? No. Show me one guy or woman as funny as Rodney Dangerfield or as good as George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, or Joan Rivers. There are a lot of good comics out there, no doubt, but as far as the quality of the comic goes, I think what you have is a bunch of situational comics. What we have now is black comics that only work black crowds, Southern comics that only do the South, and on and on and on. The previous generation's comics were better because they had to make everybody laugh. Richard Pryor could do the Ed Sullivan Show and play the Apollo. Seinfeld can work any crowd. Ellen can work any crowd. Lopez can work any crowd, and a few more. But the rest of them are just situational comics. That's interesting.
I don't completely agree with him. Jeff Foxworthy and the Blue Collar Comedy guys do Southern comedy, and they're huge everywhere. They're huge in the North. They're huge in the South. They're doing fine, you know.
Are they like if they went to New York, they'd pack it out? You think Jeff Foxworthy would pack it out?
They do it, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing that Richard Pryor did. Richard Pryor talked about African American stuff, but not only did African Americans listen to him.
Oh, we all did.
Everybody
laughed.
did.
Yeah.
Well, I never did, but you didn't get to listen to him, did you?
I did.
You did?
Yeah. For whatever reason, being a latchkey kid, to come from a divorced home. My babysitter wasn't a babysitter; it was television.
My dad and uncle would go down to the basement and listen to Richard Pryor. But so I think that I hear what he's saying, and I think there are a lot of people who have polarized comedy, but I don't think you can say Southern. I mean, I think there are still some great comedians that would transcend that.
Yeah, but Jeff Foxworthy, you go. He's redneck.
He is redneck, but I'm just saying more people. All around the globe, listen to him and laugh. I think Chris Rock says that because Chris Rock can't work. I think he's described himself.
Yeah,
Yeah. But not to argue with him. He's doing better than
I am. Judd Apatow, who is kind of, maybe in some ways, the modern day John Hughes. I don't know if I would really, but I mean,
yeah, that's a big mantle.
I don't know why Judd Apatow has to be so crudely gross. You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah.
Why do we have to go there?
I honestly haven't seen very many of his movies. I think I saw one or two and was like, man, if that's where you're going, there's no reason I'm not going to watch it.
I went to see This Is 40 by myself over Christmas break because the trailers just look so endearing.
Yeah.
And you get there and you're like, oh, come on.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Maybe I'm just, I don't know.
You know what? It may fall into the same category of what Chris Rock said. He's not funny enough to be clean,
He had a great thing here. When I was 12 years old, I went to visit my grandparents in Beverly Hills. I was and am still a massive Steve Martin fan. One day in the car, my grandmother pointed out where he lived. A few days later, as we drove by, I looked out the window and saw something mind-blowing. Steve Martin was standing in front of his house. I yelled at my grandmother to stop the car, grabbed a pen and paper, and jumped out. Mr. Martin, can I have your autograph? No, I'm sorry, but I don't sign autographs at my house. Please? I'm sorry, but if I do, then people will start coming over. Well, will you sign it in the street? So this is Judd Apatow.
When he's a little kid. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good for a 12-year-old, but he said no and apologized. I jumped back in the car in a rage. Back at my grandparents', I pulled out a notepad and started writing him a letter. This is just amazing. Dear Mr. Martin, I think you're the funniest man on earth, but you treat your fans like crap. If I didn't buy all your albums and go to all your movies, you wouldn't live in that house. If you don't send me an apology, I'm going to send your address to Homes of the Stars, and you will have your tour buses passing by 24 hours a day. I left it in his mailbox for effect. About 6 months later, back home, I received a package. Inside was the book Cruel Shoes by Steve Martin with the following inscription: Dear Judd, I'm sorry, period. I didn't realize I was speaking to the Judd Apatow, your friend Steve Martin, March of 1980. I knew that the only reason he responded was because my letter had made him laugh. If I could make Steve Martin laugh, then maybe one day I could enter into this mysterious world of comedy.
That's really funny.
I tell the story a lot and feel bad if it ever sounds like he was not gracious. If someone walked up to my door and asked for my autograph, I'd be a little bit mad too. Thanks, Steve.
That's funny.
And then in the magazine, it shows Steve Martin on a tour bus in front of Judd Apatow's house, and Judd Apatow is in his bathrobe, and Steve Martin writes, 30 years later, or however many years later, when I was 67, I knew I could make money by taking tourists by Judd Apatow's house. I'd been a big fan ever since his first movie, Young Adults. One day I was driving the tour bus by Judd's house, and I saw him making coffee in the kitchen. I just knew my tourists would love to get his autograph, so I drove them up in his driveway, and a few of them rang his doorbell. I suggested that others go around to the backyard. Judd finally came out and said, "What's going on here?" It was funny the way he said it, but I could picture Seth Rogen or Jonah Hill saying it and making it really funny. Actually, I could see it becoming a movie. What's going on here? Anyway, he signed everyone's autograph book and posed for pictures, and then he took me aside and said he was going to end my banjo career. Isn't that just beautiful?
That's awesome. That's funny.
Isn't that just beautiful?
That is great.
You just go, fearless comedy, just a beautiful thing.
That is funny.
I know we're running short on time. This will be last comedy thing.
Last comedy
thing here.
Last thing.
I just, if anyone's interested in this stuff, I think this is the stuff that one guy that we never talk about as far as comedy, and I don't in all of our podcasts, and we've done over 50.
Yeah.
Is Martin Short.
Oh, Martin Short's so funny.
I mean, and you forget.
Yeah.
How great Martin Short is.
Oh, yeah.
I think you've said it, that he's kind of the actor's actor.
Oh, very much so. His
universally,
jokes,
nobody really laughs a lot at Martin Short.
He would be to comedy, like from an actor's or comedian standpoint, like the same thing as, his name just left me, who does all the political humor, and you don't even know what he's saying anymore. He used to be on Saturday Night Live, did the news. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, did he play the piano?
No. The guy that was on Saturday Night Live did the news. Dennis Miller. Dennis Miller is the political comedy.
Yeah.
I catch about a third of what he's saying.
Says.
And I mean, that's Martin Short. Martin Short does it, but it's with actors and stuff. And
did you
Lillian Gish came to me one day, and
Did you see him on Saturday Night Live this past fall?
Martin Short?
Yes.
Yeah, very funny.
Amazing.
Yeah, very funny. Yeah.
I mean, you were watching somebody just didn't hardly look at the cue cards.
No.
And there was that one scene with Bill Hader in one sketch that Bill Hader was just about, you could almost see it in his eyes, like, I cannot believe I'm doing a skit with Martin Short. And
oh, yeah.
He just ate it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought this was really good. Even as, we always say, and you and I, one of our goals or objectives, I guess, as skit guys in the world of stuff that we do is to kind of be the Tom Hanks of what we do. Because Tom Hanks supposedly out there in the world is a very nice guy, very loving, very nice. No matter what studio hires him to do anything, he just has a good reputation. You know? I would say this would be a great thing to add to our comedy repertoire. But it says Short's Hollywood exaltedness is noteworthy because he has not succeeded by the normal measures of Hollywood success. He has never carried a hit movie or created a long-running sitcom, yet those who have done precisely these things regard him with delight and something resembling awe. Hands down the funniest guy I've ever met, said Larry David. When I asked him to offer his assessment of Short, David then hedged a little. Well, I know a lot of funny people, so say one of the funniest people. Before self-correcting, no, I take it back. He is the funniest guy I know. Larry David added, and I've never heard a bad word said about him. That's a hard thing for a comedian to pull off. Steve Martin, another one of Short's high-achieving friends, made the same observation. What's interesting, Steve Martin says, is that Marty is not driven to be funny. It's not competitive or needy or desperate. Martin noted that Nora Ephron, who passed away, who wrote those movies with Tom Hanks, Martin noted that Nora Ephron, who in the meticulous instructions she left before her death last summer, dictated that Martin Short speak first at her memorial service, ahead of Meryl Streep, Mike Nichols, and Hanks, and his wife, Rita Wilson. She referred to Short as the best person. Not the best person at something, Martin said, just the best person, period. Everybody loves Marty. It's both a tribute to Short's character and a sad commentary on the collective reputation of comics that he is considered as an anomaly. Kind of what you were saying there.
Yeah.
The legitimately funny person who is actually well-adjusted and nice. It really sets him apart. I'm trying to remember, but I don't think he ever went through that megalomaniac period, said his friend and fellow Order of Canadian honoree, Lorne Michaels, who in his long tenure as the overlord of Saturday Night Live has endured all manner of messy ego bursts. Indeed, Short is not only nice, but good. A man who has things so figured out that he offers uplift, whose benign but mischievous presence, once experienced, is thereafter craved. Lorne Michaels says, I'm a Marty addict. No, Tom Hanks says that. I'm a Marty addict, says Tom Hanks. When I see on my calendar dinner party with Marty Thursday, I'm like, oh, hurry up, Thursday. Please hurry. Is that
really
not
nice.
Amazing?
Yeah, that's crazy. What's interesting, though, is you don't see Martin Short doing that much. Like, it's almost like nice guys finish last, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's great. He's done some great stuff. If he's really that good and he's really that nice, why doesn't he do more stuff?
Yeah.
You know?
That article goes on to talk about he and his wife, that they met when they were like on a touring company of Godspell. And Marty Short says she was just the most beautiful girl. And they'd been married for over 30 years, and she died of cancer.
Oh.
And part of Marty Short was saying there was never really any need to try to be more than I was. I had my family, and my wife thought I was the funniest person around.
Wow.
It talks about in there that he has a character, Ed Grimley.
Yeah.
You know,
I
must say, but audience, Google Ed Grimley. Very funny character. But he goes, Ed Grimley, in their marriage, up until the point she died, was very therapeutic. Like Marty Short would be like, if they got in a fight, he would come out as Ed Grimley, I must say, and they would, and she would go, I don't want to see Ed. Come on, or to fight, and I must say, and it's really
that's funny.
And or there would be times, like when she was dying of cancer, I need to see Ed. Hey, honey, but there was just this beautiful thing within their family that the need to be more than he was not there, because the love of his life, he made laugh.
That's beautiful.
And now that she's dead, it goes on to say that he's out there touring and doing stuff and creating shows, and he talks about how lonely it is. That without his wife and doing comedy, just it's okay. But then you watch him on Saturday Night Live, knowing that his wife has already passed away. He's just a genius.
Yeah,
he's just
he really
amazing.
is.
So anyway.
Funny.
I would love for people to go, oh, look, lunch date with Eddie. Hurry, 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 But, I mean, that's just what amazing things.
I get excited about lunch dates with you.
You do not.
If I know where we're eating. If it's a good place.
So it's really
Come
not
on,
about...
Thursday.
It's really not about me.